If you want to be a Salesforce freelance consultant, you need to watch this video right now. I'm going to talk to you about some of the commonly asked questions as to how is it possible that I personally make over $200,000 a year working only 20 hours a week. And I'm going to show you that it's not just doable, it is very repeatable. But the problem is, I just sold 25 of these freelance courses last week. That means there are 25 new freelancers entering the market. And if you want to stay back and say, hey, I want to take another month, I want to take another year and see if I'm ready for this, then if I'm adding 20 new freelancers to the workplace every single week, you can see how that's going to go by very quickly and you're going to be very late to the game. What's happening is employers used to want all of their people to be full-time in a seat doing a job. That way they could control how much time that they're working, make sure that they're working 8 hours a day, and make sure that they're on task 8 hours a day. But a lot of people are working from home, and a lot of companies are going on hiring freezes because they're not sure what's going to happen next. So two things happen that change the game for freelancers. Number one, employers aren't getting people in the office as much anymore, and people don't want to come to the office as much anymore because it's simply not safe right now. So what they're doing is they've become more open-minded about letting people work remote, which is what freelancers have done all along, but it used to make it hard for us. Now it's easy for us because it's what everyone is doing. The second thing that's happening is many companies are on hiring freezes. So they're not ready to hire full-time employees right now because they're scared of what might happen next. Do they really have a long-term position for these employees? And what happens if they don't have the budget and they have to fire that person right after they hire them? The amazing thing is that for most companies, freelance consultants or contractors, consultants in general, don't count against a hiring freeze. So companies that are on hiring freezes can still hire independent freelance consultants. The other thing is they don't have to dedicate to a full-time role, go through the HR process, give benefits and all these things. They just hire you on a contracted hourly rate and you work with them for the project that they need or the services that they need. So clients are much more inclined to hire Salesforce freelancers now than they ever have been before. And the thing that's going to change this even more is once they see the beauty of working with a freelancer 10 hours a week who can really dominate projects, they're never going to go back to hiring full-time employees. So if you're just focused on going and finding 40-hour-a-week in-office jobs or 40-hour-a-week remote jobs, those are going to become harder and harder to find, and you are missing the boat by focusing only on those. Should you keep applying for those jobs? Absolutely. Should you also give yourself a freelance angle? Absolutely. It's like saying that you want a new job, but only applying for half of the jobs available. You need to come in at both angles. So today I want to talk to you not just about that, but that's really why you should be focused in and watch this video, because you need to hear this information. Because I think a lot of people have constantly been hearing about freelancing and things like that. Go Google it. Go Google, is freelancing on the rise? Is freelancing dying? And you're going to find very quickly that freelancing is thriving and it's not going to stop. So I want to talk about some of the frequently asked questions that come up when people say, hey, I want to be a Salesforce freelancer. And I like to call it, personally, I like to call it a Salesforce independent consultant. And I'm going to talk to you about, are you ready to jump in? Do you have enough skills to start as a freelancer? And I think a lot of people think you need to have 3 or 5 or 10 years experience to be a freelance consultant, but you don't, because these are the exact same employers that were looking to hire a junior administrator now want to hire just a freelancer who can do the same job as an administrator. And I should point out that I don't do development work. I do 100% Salesforce administrative work. I make $200 an hour, $225,000 a year, working 20 hours a week. So don't think you need to be a developer or CPQ or whatever. So we're going to talk about the FAQs right now, those frequently asked questions. So number one, is the Salesforce administrator market already saturated, or will it be saturated in the next 2 to 3 years? So I think a lot of people are hearing that, and people love to latch on to the first thing that gives them an excuse. Don't be like that. You are never going to achieve anything great latching onto the first excuse that comes your way. So if you hear, oh, the Salesforce administrator market is saturated because I have a friend who got a certification and then they didn't land a job next week, so it must be saturated. That is one story from one person. If you look at our Facebook group, we had 2 people last week who got their admin certifications, they did a little volunteer work, and they both make over $65,000 a year at their first Salesforce job. So you cannot tell me this thing is saturated. You had a bad experience, and now you've let that impact your entire future because you're not willing to take another shot. So you have to be ready to take another shot. The next thing I'll say is that if this thing is saturated, how am I doing Salesforce administrative work and making over $200,000 a year working part-time? If I ramped up to 40 hours a week, I could make over $400K. So you can't tell me that a non-development resource like myself can make $400,000 a year in a saturated market. That makes no sense. So the second thing we're going to talk about is I've been trying my luck on, I hear people say, I've been on Upwork, I've been on Fiverr, I can't find a job that I'm looking for. Serious clients are not hiring from Upwork and Fiverr. That is the bottom of the barrel consulting. Typically, there are some people who do well in that space, but if you want to get out and make $100 an hour, $200 an hour, it's not an Upwork and Fiverr. Those guys have no certifications, or they used exam dumps to get their certifications, and they don't know what they're doing. You can ask any client who has tried Upwork and Fiverr, and they'll walk in there and they'll say, hey, I've got a requirement for, I run a pharmaceutical company and I need a Sales Cloud and Service Cloud implementation done. Can you help? And everybody on Upwork and Fiverr just goes, yeah, I can help. Don't you want to hear some more requirements? I can get it done. That does not make a client feel good. All the Upwork and Fiverr people just want you to sign a quick contract, send over a quick paycheck, and make a quick buck. And they're not interested in the long-term benefits of developing long-term clients. And that is why clients are going to pay you as an independent freelance consultant and not go to Upwork and Fiverr. They want to see you look professional with process-driven documentation like statements of work, proposal documents, training guides for administrators and end users, project plans that'll blow them away, requirements gathering with design documents that'll show them exactly what you're going to do. The difference between someone on Upwork and Fiverr and a real freelance consultant is that the guys from Upwork and Fiverr, or the girls, are going to be having their hand held by the client. The client's going to have to drag them through the project, tell them exactly what they want and what they need to do. A true freelance independent consultant is going to hold the hand of the client. They're going to show the client and guide them through the project, and that's where my course is going to help you dominate. I've already got all of the templates built for you, and it's all done. All you have to do is drop the company logos in, fill in the blanks, and you can run these projects just like the consulting firms. How do I know? Because I worked for the consulting firms for over 7 years. I've ran my own independent freelance firm for the last 5 years. I know exactly how this works, and I'm making great money, and I want to show you how to do exactly the same thing. This isn't some BS. In all honesty, I'm selling this for way cheaper than what it's worth because I'm actually trying to help people. And the reason I say that is because we've grown this YouTube channel and we've grown the Facebook group from nobody to thousands of people interacting. And the number of messages I get every single day saying, hey, can you help me one-on-one? And I have to go, hey, look, I used to be able to help people one-on-one because there were only 5 or 6 people asking. Now I have hundreds of people asking. So the only way I can help you now is to give you this course so that you can move through the exact same process I used to do one-on-one, but I've just consolidated everything down so you can run through this course and get the exact same information from the one-on-ones for a much lower price. So that's why I've done it that way. And then some people will say, then why are you charging for it? Well, number one, the platform to host the course on costs money. Number two, it costs me money, my time, which is my money, to go back and forth with people and help to coach them. And number three, because I already have half this stuff on the YouTube channel and I can see the metrics. People are watching 1.5 minutes of a 10-minute video because they lose interest early on. That's what happens when you give somebody free stuff. They don't get hooked in right away, so they click away from it and they lose that opportunity to move into something that could really be life-changing. So what I do is I attach a nominal price, and I guarantee you this is a very nominal price, so that you feel a little bit of that, hey, this video isn't as exciting as watching somebody jump off a cliff, but it could change my career forever, and I've already invested a few bucks in it, so I may as well go ahead and watch it while I'm here. So that is why I charge a price. Question 3, I get this one a lot. Do I need to start an LLC if I'm a freelance consultant? Yeah, you do need to start your own business, whether that's an LLC, a sole proprietorship, and that can be totally different depending on what country you're in. In the United States, for me, it's start an LLC. That protects you. It's called a limited liability corporation. All you have to do is Google how to set up an LLC in your state, and you can set that thing up this weekend. It's going to cost you a couple $100 to get it started, but that's going to protect you personally. As a freelance consultant with an LLC, if one of my clients sues me, which I've never heard of happening, but it's best to be safe. If one of my clients sues me, they can take my laptop. That's the only asset I have for my company. If I don't have an LLC and one of my clients sues me, they can take my house, my car, the money I have in the bank. That is why you have to have an LLC in place. The other thing that it gives you is, for instance, my company is named Honest IT LLC. I didn't name it Bradley Rice Consulting because that's too amateur. You want to be able to showcase yourself and create this perception that you are an independent consultant who is part of a more polished situation. So for instance, if I named my company Bradley Rice Consulting, I would walk into a client and I would say, hey, my name's Bradley Rice. I'm the founder of Bradley Rice Consulting, and I want to help you. Immediately, their perception is going to be, this is a one-guy company. He only knows what he knows, and I don't want to work with something that seems a little unstable. So I name my company Honest IT LLC. Why do I do that? Because now I can walk into interfacing with a client and I can say, hey, I'm Bradley Rice. I'm the senior consultant at Honest IT LLC, and I want to help you optimize your Salesforce instance. What can I do to help? That is a very different perception that a client gets. So you want the LLC to protect yourself. You also want the LLC so you can position yourself as a consultant at a firm. And no one's ever going to ask you how many people do you work with, because you're going to dominate the project because of the templates and the process documentation you get from this course. Now, the last question we're going to talk about is, why should you trust me? And the fact of the matter is, a lot of people have been scammed online. A lot of people have been, hey, shoot me $200 over PayPal and I'll change your life. And they never get sent anything and the person stops responding. And I know that's happened to people and it's horrible. And I know I've got to beat that monster that has sort of occurred, especially in the space of online courses. And I think for me, it is that I've got the YouTube channel. You can go back and watch the weekly and bi-weekly videos I've been creating for months now. And you can see that I'm not a scam artist. You can see that I'm really creating content to try to help people and make people's lives better. I have great income, all because of what Salesforce has given me as a career. And I simply want to share that with other people. That's it. The other thing is, come check out the Facebook group. Look at the positive things people are saying. Look at the YouTube comments on YouTube, on the videos. People have such positive things to say. And if that doesn't speak for itself, then I don't know what else to do. And then look at the business that I built, Honest IT, and making hundreds of $1,000s a year working part-time. I can't risk losing all that by selling a garbage product to people who don't need it. So that is why you can trust that the materials that I give you are top-notch, and the value that I say they give you are spot on. And I'm not scamming you, and I'm not trying to make a quick buck. I'm trying to help people go forward with their Salesforce careers. So just make sure you know that. Check out the notes below. I've got sort of some descriptions of the stuff I talked about. And you can find the course on my Teachable site. It'll also be in the video below. But thanks for checking it out. Thanks for watching the video. And I hope you guys join so that we can change your future.